Hey, welcome to this video. This video is just off the back of a post I done or a story I done on Instagram asking if people want to see how I ran a mini cut, aka a short-term aggressive fat loss phase, which is basically what a mini cut is. So here it is, I'll get into it. It's going to be quite simple. This first video, I'll probably do a few or try to do a few if people still want to see the kind of further I get into the mini cut, what changes I make, how I make the changes, kind of thing, how training changes, all those kind of things. But this first video is just going to be the setup. So it is relatively simple. I'll be looking at calories, how to work out calories, which is going to be the main part of the dieting side. Where to set calories in terms of how aggressive. And then I'll talk a wee bit about training as well. So what is a mini cut? For those of you that don't know, all a mini cut is an aggressive diet phase. Tends to come, it's kind of bodybuilding language, it tends to come off the back of a bulking phase or a massing phase where your main focus is to grow as much muscle as possible. With that, you tend to add accrued body fat over time. And then this is just a short diet to cut down on body fat, and then off the back of that you can then rebound back into a massing phase and get a bit more of a benefit when trying to add muscle. Yeah, if you have any questions on anything I talk about in here, leave a comment, message me, get in contact any way you want, and I can go into a bit more depth, or I can do more videos answering these questions or Q&As or whatever you'd like, to be honest. So with the mini cut, I've got my screen here. You should be able to see it. I'm going to edit all this together. All I use is a calorie calculator, and there's a bunch out there. You can get them online. They're really simple. You can Google it. All the calorie calculator really is an estimate of how many calories you require on a daily basis. So this is where that's basically what BMR is. So BMR is basal metabolic rate. All that means is how much energy does the body require just to function without any activity. Over here, we then have TDEE, which is where our activity multiplier comes in. So depending on how active you are, you're going to need to use one of these multipliers. Most people tend to fall in sedentary. If you're not sure, I'd possibly just go with sedentary anyway. As I said, this is just going to work out an estimated calorie allowance. And then from implementing the initial calories that we kind of do from the start, we can then see the results we get and make adjustments based on how we're progressing. So all I need for my one here, height, weight, and age, popped them all in. I've got it all set up to do it automatically to save me time for clients. BMR comes out as 2218.6, so that's just calories. I'm going to use the sedentary activity multiplier because everyone's working from home with lockdown. It makes even more sense to use my activity. Like, I'm not walking into work. I'm not walking about during the day as much. I've not even really been getting steps in, to be honest. So sedentary is going to work for me here. So what we see here is in general, in an average day, my body should require around this much energy, calories. All energy is calories and vice versa in this instance. This is how much energy my body requires on estimate to function at an okay level and make sure everything's working okay and I have enough energy to do my daily activity. So from here, this number is actually that maintenance calorie level where we're not really going to see a change. We're not really going to gain body fat. We're not going to lose it. We're just in that middle ground in between. So what we want to do is create a deficit. So food drops, activity stays high. We're outputting more energy than we're taking in, creating an energy deficit. With that energy deficit, we have to get energy from somewhere to make up that deficit. So it normally comes from internally within the body. So fat stores, sometimes the muscle can be broken down, that kind of thing. So to create this deficit, which is this number down here, I have taken 20% off my maintenance, just nice and simple. Again, it's just an estimate. So this isn't going to be the final number. This is almost a test. I'll implement 2,200 calories on average per day. It doesn't need to be the same each day. It can fluctuate, but as long as the average is at that 2,200 mark, I can then review my progress for that week to week, and then adjust the many variables, or like one or two, depending on what's going on, of the many variables I can adjust to then try and get more progress. So I've not started this. I'm going to start this on Monday. I'm just setting it up now, so it's done. So I'm going to aim to eat 2,200 calories per day all of next week. Every day I will also weigh in and then take an average of my weight for the full 7 days of the week, which I know to a lot of people seem, I don't know, maybe excessive, I don't know, maybe not. But if I can do every day and take an average, it gives me, when I then compare week 1 to week 2 to week 3, etc., it gives me a much more accurate reading and viewpoint of what my body's actually doing and how much weight I'm losing, if I'm losing, how fast, and then I can make adjustments based on that as well to make sure, although this is an aggressive fat loss phase, I don't want to be too aggressive, as I'm not wanting to risk losing muscle mass, or I'm trying to minimize the risk of losing muscle mass as much as possible, even though I'm dieting quite aggressively. And I'll only be running this for about 8 weeks, I think. If I need to go longer, I need to go longer. If I need to go shorter, I need to go shorter. In terms of a weight goal, I don't set a weight goal. I don't have a weight goal. That'll very much be done by photos and how I look in the mirror. Because it's not about weight, it's just about, it's about dropping enough body fat so I'm lean enough. I can then rebound out back into a bulking slash massing phase where I want to build muscle. Because my main aim and goal is to grow. At the moment, for the short term, it's fat loss, but then that is for the benefit of growing post diet phase and rebounding out of that when my body's ready to absorb all these nutrients when I start feeding myself more calories and go into a bulking phase. I can talk about different phases of diet and bulking, massing, etc. if people want to. Again, just let me know in the comment. So the main thing here is just keeping calories as low as they need to and activity as high as possible and keeping performance high. It's a fine balance. It's going to be different for everyone. So if your measurements are the same as mine here, this calorie target might not work for you. It might be too high, it might be too low, yeah, it might be just right. But that's where there's a lot of individuality to this. Because I've dieted before, so when I dieted for my photo shoot, I think I started around this number as well. That I dieted for 18 weeks, I think, into my photo shoot. But the last maybe 4 weeks were more just maintaining the physique I had because I got to where I wanted to get to. But the lowest my calories went was 1,800. So that's a 400 calorie difference. For me, it's quite low. My calories going into when I was in this kind of bulking slash massing phase were up over 3,000. To be honest, I've not tracked since my photo shoot. I've just kind of kept an eye on my physique and my weight to make sure I'm just not gaining too much. And now I'm just at that point, which are kind of a tipping point where I just want to pull down, recondition, so I can then keep proceeding to put food in, push muscle, push training, all those things to add as much muscle mass as I can in however long it takes. And it's very much, this is a kind of cyclical way of doing it, because you just don't, our body kind of takes on or gains more and more body fat, it can be harder to add muscle tissue just due to the way nutrients are partitioned and broken down within the body. I won't get into it properly. If you'd like, again, just let me know and I can talk to you a bit further about it. So this is the goal. This is the setup, to be honest. Training wise, I've not done my program yet. I'll be training 5 days a week. I'll be probably aiming to do 10,000 steps. And I may also do one kind of cardio session as well at the moment. So just like 1.5k, just more for a health, that's more for the health side, although it will give me extra energy expenditure, but it's more just to keep my heart and lung health in a better place, to be honest. So training is going to be simple. It's all going to be resistance training, 5 days a week, 2 rest days, eating around 2,200 calories to start, and then we'll just review each week, see what progress I'm making, make the required adjustments to training, food, steps, cardio, whatever it needs to be. I'll judge that based on the feedback I get. So I'll be filling out my own check-in sheet, which I get my clients to fill out, which makes it a lot easier to make adjustments based on that, because I've got so much information. Because there's so much more to fat loss than just calories in versus calories out. Sleep will come into it, stress will come into it, digestive stress will come into it. All these things are part of your health markers as well. So your overall health can have a big impact on how quick or slow you can lose weight. And we have control over some aspects of them, not all. I can't change my metabolism. That is always going to fluctuate up and down depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm heavily dieted, my metabolism's probably in the blooming shitter. So if that sounds like you, who have been dieting and keeping calories super low for months and months, you might actually be worth bumping up calories before trying to go into a fat loss phase, if you even need a fat loss phase. So there's lots of things to consider when even starting a mini cut or any fat loss phase. It is good to speak to someone about it just to get a second opinion, because we can't always trust ourselves to be honest with ourselves when it comes to our health, our physique, all those things. I think that's everything, to be honest. I think that's everything I want to talk about. As I said, it looks really simple. As I get into it, there's so many variables and health markers and stuff we'll look at that I'll link up with other things which will give me an insight into what needs adjusted. But to start with, giving myself an estimated calorie target, which should put me in a calorie deficit. Training is going to be 5 days a week. I'm going to try and do 10,000 steps a day. Should manage to do that, to be fair. And maybe one cardio session. That'll probably vary week to week on if I can be bothered, not going to lie. And then from there, we will review. Leave a comment. Tell me what you'd like to see going forward. Ask questions. I can implement or answer them into the next video. Integrate is the word, not implement. And I can just give you guys as much of an insight into this kind of mini cut or aggressive fat loss phase as possible, like was requested in my Instagram story. That's all from me. I'll leave it there. Any questions, message me, email me, get back to me. If you'd like to talk in more detail about your own situation, feel free to book a call with me. You can go view my website, or my Instagram profile has a link tree and you can book a call in there for whenever suits you. I'll talk to you soon.